just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if it's sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right. This is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 220. Mike Seglia, Alex Vanessowitz, and the New York Knicks and Indiana Pacers are now tied at 2 games apiece. Indiana holds home court, getting a slim victory in Game 3, which had a wild ending. And then in Game 4, an absolute bloodbath. The Pacers slammed the Knicks in a huge victory that wasn't even close. Knicks injuries are mounting and piling up. OG Anunoby out. We know about Mitchell Robinson. And, of course, Julius Randle, and the injuries starting to pile up. Bogdanovich got hurt earlier as well. Pacers take advantage. And, Alex, we've got a series. It is 2-2, and we have a lot to digest here on Bad Weather Fans. Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing well. It sucked in Indiana. That just sucked. But you know what? Game 3, you got to steal that one. And then you're up 3-0. You lose Game 4. Who cares? You flush it. You don't even care about it. You can come home and win the series. So it sucks that they lost Game 3, but it happens. You know, it just stinks overall because, you know, I don't know why I did it. And I got to admit being wrong here, Mike. You know, I underestimated the loss of OG Anunoby in this series. I thought even without him, they would still, you know, sweep, maybe win in 5. You know, I was just... The Knicks were rolling. I was on a high, and I'm just like, I don't give a shit. We're going to win. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I was just jacked up. But then you look back at the season, and you just look at it rationally after they lost, and you just kind of put it together, and it makes sense. You know, like when they were out, Mitchell Robinson, OG Anunoby, and Julius Randle, I kept saying on this podcast, we need 2 of the 3 back in order to make a deep run in the playoffs. They are now without all 3 again, and without Bogdanovich. So we're back to this, and Jalen Brunson has a hurt foot, and if he's not dropping 30 or 40 points a game, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to win, even if DiVincenzo drops 35 like he did on Friday in Game 3. It's just a very, very difficult task for the Knicks because the Pacers are just going to run and press you full court and do everything possible to do all the little things to exhaust them because the Knicks are shorthanded. It has nothing to do with the amount of minutes they're playing. They just don't have a lot of guys right now. You can't play Shake Milton. You can't play any of these other guys, Daquan Jeffries. You know, you just have to run with the guys like Alec Burks and Jericho Sims. And Jericho Sims shows his experience in the playoffs. So he gets an 8-second violation. You know, he's dribbling up the court and he just freaks out and stops before the half-court line. And then looks to pass, like, just take the extra dribble, like you already got that far. You know, it's so easy for me to say. Meanwhile, he's just like everybody's staring at him. He's a big center, never dribbles the ball.
Right.
You know, so I understand, but that's the inexperience right there. Alec Burks at least has given us something. So, you know, that's good. I mean, us, the Knicks, you know, it's just frustrating because I know the Knicks would have swept this series if OG and Mitch were healthy. The Pacers are not that good. I still don't respect them. The Knicks are just shorthanded, and the Bucks were shorthanded, and they're the fluke team, not the Knicks. And it's just frustrating with the coverage. It's frustrating watching the series slip away a little bit. But 2 out of the last 3 games of this series are at the Garden, and let's see how the Pacers act there. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know you don't respect the Pacers, and I don't plan on having a conversation here convincing you to respect the Pacers. And quite frankly, it really doesn't matter because I did before we came into this series. I said I liked Indiana. I said I liked how they matched up, and I said the Knicks through the series in the long haul were going to have problems. I predicted that. I didn't predict injuries, but I said the way the Indiana plays, I think it's going to cause a problem for the Knicks and everything that has happened to them beforehand. I personally do respect the Indiana Pacers. I think because you're in the moment of the energy in it, it's hard to see it, but the way they have played, the way they play full court press, the way they get in your face, they are an annoying bunch, and they don't quit and they don't stop. And that's, you know, you're right. OG Anunoby didn't play. They also, I mean, destroyed the Knicks. We're not saying, I mean, they embarrassed them. So you might not respect them, but I sure as hell hope to God that the team that you root for does, because they're going to have to if they're going to want to come in and get a win in game 5. And for me, I don't look at the 2 wins as something to celebrate. There's one mission, and it's to get 4 losses for this team. So anybody that's happy and cocky after 2 wins at home versus the Knicks, quit it. It's about getting them eliminated with 4 in total. Halfway there, I like what I've seen from Indiana. Clearly, going back to Indy was huge. And, the Knicks took that big punch in game 3. I think they got deflated from it and then laid a complete dud in game 4. And I would expect game 5 to be what we saw in games 1 and 2 at the Garden. And did Indiana grow from the experience, and can they get a win on the road at MSG? Because clearly in this series, home court has meant everything. Can the Pacers do it? Do they grow up in this series and just put the nail in this coffin of the Knicks? Can they do it? I hope so. I'm a little skeptical too, just because of how much better the Knicks play at home, in particular Jalen Brunson, and the energy that's fed off for them. So it changes everything going back to MSG. But I believe that the Pacers grew up a little bit from these last 2 games. And, fingers crossed they go in there and they get that win in New York for a Knicks team that is favored by like a point or point and a half. We'll see how much Indiana grew. Let's see if they can take that into New York and get the win. And I know for all the people that want to see the Knicks lose, I'm hopeful that Indiana has grown from this experience. Yeah, the OG Anunoby injury is killer. All these injuries are killer. And I just saw before the series, it's like the Knicks at some point, through the way Indiana plays and everything that has happened to the Knicks, like, the longer this shit goes, man, I could just see it. But all that can change in game 5, and the Knicks can prove me wrong.
Yeah, and I hope they do. But also the Pacers, to me, and that's just where we fundamentally have a different opinion. Even if they win this series, they haven't proved anything. You know what I mean? They haven't proved they're legit. They haven't proved anything. But
who cares?
But it doesn't matter. No, and they shouldn't apologize for it. Don't get me wrong. The Pacers can only play who's in front of them. But They haven't proved they have arrived. If they get to the Eastern Conference Finals, beating the hurt Bucks and the hurt Knicks, they haven't proved anything.
Yeah, but they proved.
Go into Boston and get to the finals, then you can prove something to me. And then next year, do it again, and then you can prove something to me against healthy teams. But
you know
what I'm saying?
I don't think Rick Carlisle cares what you think. I mean,
of course not.
Right.
So I don't expect them to.
Right.
But I'm just saying they didn't prove anything to me. That's all I'm saying.
One of these teams is going to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's 2 out of 3. Who's going to do it? I mean, I have so much respect for the Knicks that I think, even with all these injuries, that it is doable. Now, I don't know if I'm looking at it from the lens of I've seen how well the Knicks play, and it scares me because I know what the Garden gives them, and I know how good Jalen Brunson has been. And I do think there are weird similarities with this Nets-Bucks series that happened in 2021 when the Nets, a little different because they smashed the Bucks in game 1 and 2. But there was that game 3, Alex, when they lost. First of all, Kyrie Irving got hurt. He got hurt. Even maybe if he doesn't get hurt in that game 3 loss, they still win the series. But he gets hurt, and then they have that. They blow the lead late in the fourth quarter in game 3, and then they get killed in game 4. And I was just like, then they don't have Kyrie, they don't have Harden. Essentially, it's like I'm watching the same series. It feels very similar.
Right. Well, the only difference is that Kevin Durant wasn't on one leg too. Like, you know what I mean? Like Jalen Brunson is hurt, and he does not have the same lift off his floater in the lane. And anybody watches him all year and has watched him, you watched him enough, he just doesn't have that lift. Like that floater in the lane that's money. It's not going because he can't get off the ground. It's off the front rim, and that's killing them, man. And it's if they had Jalen Brunson 100% healthy, I believe they would have won the series. And I still think they can win the series if he's healthy. But if he's not healthy, they're not going to win the series. And that just sucks. But it's just the facts, And, if Jalen Brunson, listen, you go into game 3, you're up 2-0. You got to win 2 of what? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 of 5 With Jalen Brunson and shorthanded, I think that they could do that. You know what I'm saying? But now it's 2-2 and you got to win 2 out of 3 and Jalen Brunson's hobbled. It's a little scary, man. And it sucks because like this season is up in flames all of a sudden. And you know what? It's just like, what did we do to deserve this as Knicks fans to get totally shafted and have this one great season finally after years of crap since the Melo year? I know they've been to playoffs 3 out of 4 years, but there's years and years of crap to finally have a team that we can be so proud of and that we can resonates with us as part of New Yorkers and compares to the 90s. And like, I love the Melo year and I love the last, 2 of the last 3 years. Those were fun years. But like this year particularly, you really could believe that this team could get to the finals and you never know. But now the entire team is hurt. It's like, why? Why do the NBA gods do this to us? Why mess with us? I'd rather win 17 games than get to the precipice of winning a championship just to have my entire team get injured. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just drives me crazy. It feels like 99 again, where you're on this miracle run and then Ewing gets hurt in the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, we got the LJ 4-point play. Got to the finals anyway. But once you got to the finals, you knew you weren't going to beat Duncan and Robinson. It's just, it sucks, man. Like, why is there always a piece missing? You know what I mean? When does it all fall in line for me?
Well, I can't speak for you individually, but I can speak for Knicks fans as a whole. Tough shit. I mean, I'm not going to feel guilt. I'm not going to feel bad for Nick injuries. I saw a team, and I don't hate having this conversation premature because
it's not over.
Everything the Knicks have done, it's not fair to them.
Plus, it's sustainable for next year for the Knicks. It wasn't like the Nets where it just
well.
You kind of you had mercenaries, and it's kind of like, were these guys going to be here forever? You had a short window. You know what I'm saying?
If we could, if you want to go back to what happened, I agree that I'll agree with you here. Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, I think have their head on their shoulders and are great guys.
And they'll be here for 7 years.
I think they are. I mean, Jalen Brunson's sort of getting on my nerves a little bit with all the he's Trae Young plus everything he does, but
that's the narrative that Windhorst built. The LeBron plant, the clutch plant, built that about him in the regular season, and now everybody's running with it. Everybody tries to draw fouls. He's not like Embiid. It's so overblown.
Yeah, but there's yes, but the amount of complaining of Knicks fans from other players that do it. Now they have a guy that's on their team that does it, and it changes everything.
I hear you. Okay, that makes sense. Yes. Well, it's your guy, and I get it.
That's really good at drawing fouls. Embrace it.
But that's not all he does. That's the thing. Harden or Embiid will shoot 15, 20 free throws a game.
Of course, it's not.
Jalen Brunson's like off the dribble and hitting the jump shots and whatever. Anyway,
but it's okay to admit you have a guy that gets fouls and does something.
But now he's got that narrative, though. That's what bothers me. It bothers me because he's got that narrative that's placed on him. And
Trae Young plus, man, I came up with because he's better than Trae Young. But backtracking, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, getting on my nerves for other reasons. Shout out to their podcast, right? But
roommates. Yes. What's up?
Backtracking and connecting with the Nets and the sustainability.
Yes.
Yes, I agree with you that they have more of a foundational piece. But if you look at that Nets team after they lost in Game 7 to the Bucks, they come back the next season. You're recharged. Kyrie Irving gets the whole mandate stuff happens, and it just spirals out of control into how that net thing happened. That doesn't happen. Maybe there's something else that triggers.
There's always something else with Kyrie, man. There's gonna be something with the Mavericks soon. This is gonna be something soon. He's on his best behavior this year, and then whatever.
But the point is, like, that team, that wasn't it. And I would say this caution. I will say this with some caution. You never know in this league, man. Shit changes.
Oh, I know.
Fast.
I know.
You have no fucking clue. You have no. Jalen Brunson could be Isaiah Thomas 2.0. You just never know, man. You just never know.
No, crazier, I know, but you know what
has happened?
They're all young. They're young-ish. They're in their prime. They're under contract. They have draft picks. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, they're a move away.
They're all not even. They could just be healthy away. You know what I'm saying? Like, just be healthy. And the Knicks can win a championship next year. They have 2 draft picks. Maybe they hit on one of them. The Knicks, this regime has been great at drafting late in the first round and early second round with Quickly, McBride. I mean, Sims is okay. What's his name? Quentin Grimes, was traded, but you got Bogdanovich for him, but he was a late pick.
Deuce is good.
They've been good. I mean, they've been good at doing that, and quickly is pretty good, don't you think? So it's just like I just feel like. Yeah, Obi was an 8th pick, so it doesn't count. That's not late in the draft. They're only good at late in the draft. So if they get a top 10 pick, just trade back to the back of the
Obi's
first
played okay. Obi's played fine.
He's driving me crazy, man. It just hurts me because they didn't need to get rid of him. I know he's not that great. Like I thought he'd be a lot better than what he was with a real opportunity in Indiana, and I'll take the L on that all day. But Obi on the Pacers beating the Knicks in the playoffs is hurting me because the Knicks did not have to trade him. They could have just kept him. You know what I mean? They could have just have him on the team. I mean, I guess personally he wanted out, and it was just they ran its course. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, and they're like, let's send him to a team that Knick fans like, all right, Indiana, whatever. Like we hated the Knicks.
They're gonna suck anyway, right? Yeah,
but the Pacers took the leap, and but Obi McConnell off the bench, TJ McConnell too is a pain in the ass for Jalen Brunson.
Yeah,
and there are matchup issues there, man. I know you don't respect the Pacers, but I guess just over time is all that can happen. And that the game 1 loss was there, the game 2 loss was there, the game 3 loss, the game 3 win was the reversal, and then you got the blowout in 4. So I'm very intrigued because I would imagine Jalen Brunson, home crowd at the Garden, it's going to be his moment, injury or not.
Well, if they lose game 5, the series is over. They're going to lose if they lose game 5, in my opinion.
It'd be tough.
I don't think the Knicks will ever quit, but I just think it'll be. I can't. It'll be very impressive, but I just.
The problem with the Knicks is their defense has been awful, and especially without OG,
yeah,
it's been terrible.
And without Mitchell Robinson, that second starting center that made this team so great, coming in and grabbing those offensive boards. They haven't been getting them. They haven't been getting the defensive boards, and the Pacers have been getting the offensive boards and getting the second opportunities in game 3, and that crushed them. And, game 4, obviously that happened early, and Miles Turner hit this miracle 3, and it was just like, oh, come on, man. Once he hit that 3, it was just like, uh-oh. You know what I mean? That one that was like kind of off one leg, and like it was just like, oh, it was a prayer. Like, all right. And, game 3, it's like, I felt like Knicks fans, I don't want to say this directly, but it sort of felt like we turned into Sixers fans a little bit. We're like, well, if DiVincenzo doesn't hit that shot and this doesn't happen, then we win game 2. And, and it's just like, all right, well, if Neesmith doesn't hit this miracle shot, or is Nemhard, or I always get those guys confused. Whoever hit it was Nemhard that hit the crazy 3, the step back. Wasn't a travel. It really wasn't. And he was bobbling the ball and flings it up from 35 feet. And it's money. And it's just like, oh, come on. And then it's just like, well, if you didn't hit that shot, then we win. If it wasn't that goaltend that was called, then they win. If it wasn't this, then they win. You know what? They lost. And it sucks.
You said it. What was it, Alex? Winners win and losers lose?
Exactly.
What was your famous quote?
Winners win and losers complain. And It's true. Yeah, that's true.
Now you're complaining. You're complaining about your injuries.
Yeah, listen, I'm complaining about my injuries. I'm not complaining about the refs. The refs' complaints are just, it just is what it is. The small market crap was a bunch of, look, we talk about that for a second. Like,
well, yeah, because of course Rick Carlisle's got to do what he's got to do, man. Like, I don't understand why people take, like, if you look at it,
a punk. He's being a punk.
But
so was Nick Nurse.
But when you're looking for an edge and you want to get calls, this is what you do. 35 fucking grand.
That's so fucking absurd. Like, that's just like, you can embarrass the officials and then they'll give you foul calls. That's just like fixing the game.
I don't know if they, but
it's a subconscious thing. I know.
Right.
They're not like, oh my God,
fixing foul
it's subconscious, especially in Indiana.
Right. But unfortunately for Knick fans, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you could dispute me on this. I didn't hear any of them bitching about the refs in game 4.
Of course not. Because, they were blown out, the doors blown off of them. Right. You know what I mean? There's no excuses. They got their ass kicked in game 4, and it is what it is, man.
Can we talk about this is a topic we haven't gotten to, and this will be a fun one. Can we talk about the Thibs stuff? And just the Thibs and the injury conversation. I'm with you where we're gonna go, but I'm gonna give 2 counter things that have been through my head.
So what's your point? You go give your point, don't counter.
Well, because I already know it's like I can already have the conversation.
Yeah, we've already had the
conversation. There's the one side. Thibs plays these guys too much, and that's why they get hurt.
In that voice too.
One,
yes.
Well, Well, he had to play the guys. They had to get the 2 seed. Look at the bench. This is how they got to do this. Blah, 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 blah. I do think that he wore Jalen Brunson out of all the guys on the team. I think he wore him out during the season. I think he gave him the minutes and wore him out a little bit. I don't think this is on Thibs. I think it's unfortunate, though, because of his track record in Chicago and everything that has happened. It is duplicate and looks the same without looking detailed in. So unfortunately, as much as people are going to, there's going to be this one. Oh, that's a lazy narrative. Oh, that's a not thinking narrative.
Casual take. Yeah.
Unfortunately, everywhere he goes, this happens. So if you want to get in the weeds of it, you're right. When you look at it like on the granular level, yeah, it's not his fault. Julius Randle's injury was a fluke thing that happened. Mitchell Robinson's foot is always hurt. Then he got into it with the
intentionally injured by Embiid.
But he's also always in. So if all the guys, it's him. It's like Kyrie Irving, for example. He's always injured, and then he got the Giannis injury. He got hurt by Giannis in the playoffs. Well, it's like, yeah, it was a bad injury, but it's like it's him. Like, of course it was. Right. The Bogdanovich thing, nothing to do with Thibs. OG Anunoby, he's all injury prone.
It happens. Right? Yeah.
So I get that this is not him, but if you just take a step back, it's like it's happening again, and it's hard not to for somebody that isn't deep looking into it. It looks identical.
Yeah, and there, how do I say it? There could be some truth to what the other side of the coin, of they played them too much. There were points in the season where there are 20-point, 30-point leads in the fourth quarter, last 3 or 4 minutes, and these guys are still on the floor. Right. Like those are like, will those 3-4 minutes keep them fresh and he'd be fine now? I don't know. You know what I mean? But so we can argue both sides here. We can make it like it's law school here and just argue both points. But we'll know for sure if these injuries were, or if Thibs ruined the Knicks players. We'll know for sure if Thibs ruined the Knicks players if these guys were all done by 30 years old, like Joakim Noah and Luol Deng and Derrick Rose had to have a reclamation, so we'll know then. But at the end of the day, it's so hard to blame these injuries on Thibs. If you look at that, if you look at it holistically, and you're just a casual and you take a step back and you look at the Knicks from up above and you're not in the weeds with them like we are on the day-to-day basis, you can say, like, look, Thibs is doing it again. But if you look at every injury individually, Randle drives the lane and Jaime Jaquez gets under him. It's drawing a charge. It's just a freak accident. He's out for the year. He lands awkwardly and separates his shoulder. Mitchell Robinson hurt all the time, comes back and grabs him from behind and throws him to the ground, hurts him again, and he's done for the season. Bogdanovich hurts, his ankle? And he already had a wrist injury, and it's just like, well, he's just like, screw it, I'll get surgery on both. This season's over. I can't come back with both injuries. You know what I mean? That's not on Thibs. Nothing to do with wear and tear. He played like 20 games for Thibs. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, OG Anunoby's always hurt his entire career. He pulls a hamstring. Like, it's just like Jalen Brunson hurts his foot. Like you said, that might be the one, but we don't know the injury too. Like, we don't know what his injury is exactly. Is a sore foot? Like, is it fractured? Like, does he have a sprain? Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
something it's so hard back there in that locker room.
Yeah,
the first and quarter quarters or whatever. I mean,
yeah. That whole second quarter of game 2, he was gone, and it's just like
weird, man.
We're like, oh, season's over.
Yeah, regular season game. He's not coming back. He's probably out a week or two.
Right. They did an X-ray. They shot him up, and they're like, okay, there's no structural damage. Get out there. It's just pain.
And he's going to do it.
Yeah.
Of course, he's going to do it.
He runs the franchise. What are you going to do to me?
I just, that's the part of the Thibs thing, man. But like, you could maybe do it with the Bulls too. Like, when you look at it deep, you're like, no, it's not that. But it just keeps happening.
Right.
And I would say I think I know. And we'll have this knock on wood conversation hopefully soon. But if you go into next year, you'll be looking very differently at how you approach the season. 100%.
Yes and no. Like I said, I still want to go hard every game. I love the way that this team is, the attitude, the culture that you like to say. I love it. and it's New York. It's just the kind of team we love, and they're going to go hard every game. But if there's a blowout and we're in the back end of the fourth quarter, can we sit our guys? That's all I'm saying. Like, there's no reason to play up 25 with 3 minutes left in the game. Like, what are we doing? Like, that I get, but I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I don't know the wear and tear of a body, if that's going to happen. But I do have a funny story. I want to get to another point.
Yeah.
So
one last thing, and then you
go ahead. Then I get to my next thing.
38 transition points given up by the Knicks in game number 4. They have to clean that up.
Yes.
If they want to beat the Pacers. I know you don't respect them, but they got to clean that up.
I do think that they need to score more points than the Pacers in order to beat them in game 5.
I think the Knicks home court is so good they don't even have to do that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. So I really wanted this series to end in 5 Tuesday.
Me too.
You know why, Mike? I'm going to Miami on Wednesday, which is great. For the weekend, I'm going from Miami from Wednesday to Saturday. It's going to be fantastic. One of my best friends' weddings, Mike, it's on Friday, the wedding. I'm in the wedding party. I've been looking forward to it for a while.
Yeah.
Game 6, Friday. And, oh, man, am I pissed. That they couldn't win one of the games in Indiana and just end the series. But it could be a late game. So if the Celtics win in 5, the Knicks game is at 8:30, as per Stephen Bondi, who I met in the parking lot outside the Sixers game. Great guy. If the Cavs win and the series, that Celtics series goes 6, then the Knicks game is at 6 p.m. on Friday, and there is absolutely zero shot I will catch any of that game. The wedding at 3:30 at the church.
Turn your phone off and just you probably need it on for family emergencies, but
right, I'm in another state.
Figure out a way to avoid, obviously, delete
no
the
shot.
app.
No shot. I'm in Florida for the wedding, but my friend's from New York. His family is. Yeah, he's a big Knicks fan, and everybody's it's got a young brother, cousins, people at the basketball game. People are going to talk about. They know I do the podcast. It was on WFAN, and this guy, he does this stuff. He met this interview with this guy, and it's like, it's just like, I'm like, bro. First of all, you're having a wedding on a Friday. Like, come on, man. You don't even have it on Saturday. It is cheaper. I mean, I'm not gonna hate. It's just like, god damn, bro. Like, it's just like if the Cavs win game 5. It's just like, come on, man. Like, now you're really screwing me. If the game's at 8:30, at least I can get through all the wedding ceremony stuff. I can get to the party, dance a little bit. I'm going by myself. My wife's staying in New York, so I'm solo at this wedding. I can go sneak into the corner and watch the fourth quarter on my phone.
Watch on your phone.
Yeah, no. I mean, I can. If it's an 8:30 game, I can 100% do that. Yeah. And probably watch it with the guys at the wedding the last few minutes. We can have a good time with it, whatever, But if it's a 6:00 game, I have zero shot. No shot.
I can't even imagine the torture because I know the season the Nets made the playoffs as the 6th seed or whatever, and you hate that team. I was at Peter Bellatti's wedding, and I was sitting. It was Nets pace. It was Nets on an 8-game winning streak, 7-game winning streak, and I whipped out my phone and started watching Nets Pacers. People started yelling at me, like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" It's like, well,
was it like it was a regular season? It was still.
Yeah, it was in December. I yelled it. I'll never forget.
I can't. I might check the score of the Knicks.
No, I started watching Nets Pacers on my phone, and I had
your wife smacked you.
No, she didn't. She was like, "I'm used to this moron."
Yeah.
So no, I feel for you. It was a funny story because on Sunday, we take a walk as a family in a town called Red Bank. It was the fourth quarter. The Knicks were down 40. I was like, let's get out of here. I finally feel confident. Normally I don't, I never feel confident. This was one of the few times I'm like, they ain't coming back. Right. So there's probably like 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And I'm wearing a Nets sweatshirt. We're going on our walk. And I always wear Nets stuff, so it's not unusual. And this guy looks at me and he goes, "Go Knicks." And I'll just like, he stared at me and he just looked at me. I just laughed.
Like you, and inside you're like, "Oh, I fucking hate you."
So then we took another walk today, and there's a Knicks guy in a Knicks shirt coming up, and my wife's like, "Oh shit." She thought it was going to happen again. This guy didn't say anything. He was just buying this. I didn't
Yeah,
have a
because he's
net shirt.
normal. Like, I'm not gonna like trash anybody. Like a random stranger. If I'm like in a store and the person who's helping me in the store has like a net something on, maybe I'll make a comment. But I'm not gonna like walk by some stranger and be like, "Yeah, nets suck." You know?
He was in it.
That's
I was
just
like,
that's
well, good
weird.
luck to you, Alex,
Thank you.
on Friday.
Well, go Celtics. That's what I'm saying. Make an 8:30 game.
Well,
You
I'm
know,
rooting for the Celtics.
it'll be tough because I mean the Cavs aren't coming back in the series now, especially Donovan Mitchell has a strained calf and he missed the game, and you know it's
Probably
over. It's
over.
over. I mean, I don't know if did the Celtics win tonight. I don't even know.
It's
They
3-1.
did. Okay, I was gonna say
3-1.
maybe the Cavs won anyway.
I mean, it was
But yeah.
close. It was 109-102. Porzingis hopefully getting close to coming back. The Celtics haven't even Dallas up 11 at the half on Oklahoma. You know, Boston hasn't even played well. Just like kind of they beat the shit out of Miami, and now they're
Well, they had an easy cupcake first round too. I mean, you know, that's just the
no
Heat had no
Butler.
Rozier and Jimmy Butler. I mean, that's two of their top scorers that were, so, and they're the number one seed, so it is what it is.
So maybe Donovan Mitchell played his last game in Cleveland. I know
maybe
it will. This will be. I just want the Knicks out so bad, and I know maybe people listening to this saying, "Oh, I truly cannot."
Well, they're not getting to the finals, so they might beat the Pacers, but they're not getting to the finals. I think you can really understand.
I mean, you never know with injuries
on,
and stuff. It would. If I can't imagine them beating. If
they would need Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to get hurt for the Knicks to get bad by them without OG Anunoby, because I doubt Anunoby's coming back. I mean, maybe but at this point with the reports, it doesn't look good.
James Harden came back with a hamstring and did it for the Nets. He did.
Yeah, but he sucked, or he wasn't himself, right? Like he was just passing it and he wasn't doing it.
He was a decoy. Yeah. He was a decoy. But and truly, like, there are differences in games. Mm-hmm. If OG can't move, he's at least
he's a cutter, right? He's like he's got to stop on the dime and cut. Like he's gonna pull it hamstring out completely. But anyway, so what happened with the Nets? So the Nets were supposed to have the third. They could have had the third pick in the draft in the lottery.
Yeah, well, the lottery happened and they came in third.
But they don't have the pick.
But they don't have the pick. I was watching this going, oh my God, they're gonna win the goddamn lottery. Feel bad for the Pistons who go from first to fifth in back-to-back years.
Ugh.
Which just should, like, to me, I understand what the NBA is doing because they don't want teams tanking. But I'm also like, this team is getting fucked.
To fifth, like you got to let them at least get a top three pick. Yeah,
this is sort of unfair for a team that's struggling. Now you're not allowing them to, especially with the Wemby draft, you're not allowing them to get better.
Well, they got the number one pick. Is just Cade Cunningham's not a franchise-changing player. Like that's
good.
He's good, but it's
fucked.
He's not Wemby. He's not, I mean, Zion, what Zion could have been. He's not LeBron. He's not like a Dwight Howard, Derrick Rose. You know what I mean? Like, he's not that.
Kenyon Martin.
So, sure.
So, yeah, the Nets go to 3, and I know a lot of Net fans pissed off. It was, to me, it's just more a nice cherry on top for a shitty season. Like, of course, they ended up moving up to third in the lottery, but the pick was gone. So, I don't know how you can look at it, like, unless you have
could have been
investment with the Rockets, what does it matter?
It's already gone.
It's already gone. So I can't. It's just shitty because it's just another like slap in the face of how shitty the season was. Like not only this pick could have been here, but you have to remember two parts. One, if the Nets don't make that trade for James Harden, let's say they never do that, and they go a different route.
Yeah.
That pick isn't ninth. The Nets are somewhere else in the universe, and that doesn't happen. It's like this is Back to the Future, right? If you change that one moment in time, and the Nets keep Karis LeVert, they keep Jared Allen, and they go to the playoffs with Allen, LeVert, Kyrie, Durant, and then the season happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different universe, right? So I don't know where that pick is. By the way, they probably win the title if they don't make the James Harden trade because Durant then has the backups and has more depth, whatever. Fuck. I sound like a Knicks fan today. So I can't, that's part one. And then part two, every 98% of Net fans were on board with the trade and were thrilled with it, especially you can't take it back. Once you saw what the Nets were when the three guys were playing together, it was like, if we stay healthy, we're gonna win a title. Didn't stay healthy. Which is why, again, I go back to this whole point where I can't feel bad for Knicks fans. Like, oh, if we just had our health, like this shit sucks. I've seen it in real time at the highest of levels with the highest of talent. It blows. Now, if the Nets had a chance to make the trade for Mikal Bridges, get those Rocket picks back, there's conflicting reports now how the Suns picks were supposed to be involved, and I don't blame Sean Marks for saying no to that. You don't want to get rid of all those. Okay.
There's more to that story, though. Yeah,
it just sucks, right? The whole circumstance sucks. But you can't get on the Nets organization for bad luck. But the Rockets winning the thing.
Yeah, it's not their fault, but it's also like you brought up the draft picks and watching the draft picks. The Knicks, in the history of my life, in their history over the last 24 years, they've made a lot of trades with draft picks. And that Melo trade, and I'm sure you're familiar with it, with the Nuggets.
Yeah.
They traded a bunch of picks and a bunch of pick swaps, and one of the pick swaps in 2016 was Jamal Murray.
Right.
But that doesn't mean if they don't make the Melo trade and they have that pick that they end up with Jamal Murray.
Of course not.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's
probably not
years later, because they made the Melo trade in 2010? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or something like that. It's just, maybe it was 10, 11, I think, whatever it was. Either way, you don't know what's going to happen 6 years later. They didn't make that trade and they make another move. Maybe they win a championship. You know what I'm saying? Like getting, who knows,
Yeah.
So it's so hard to be like, this guy, but of course it's with the Knicks. It's more of, can you believe that the Knicks didn't draft Dennis Smith Jr.? Can you believe they didn't draft Donovan Mitchell? Can you believe no other team passed on these players but the Knicks? But, that's what it is. But so I get where fans are coming from as well, saying like, this could have been us, but at the same time, it's like you make that James Harden trade 100 times out of 100 at that moment when you have Durant and Kyrie, like, oh my God, we got James Harden. We can actually win a championship. It didn't work out, but I even said it's going to work now, because before that I was like, they're not going to win. They're not going to win. They got these guys. They got Durant, Kyrie. Durant's coming back from injury. Will he be the same? I don't think they're going to win. They got, I just didn't think it. But once I got Harden, I was like, holy shit, they're going to win a championship. So you make that trade 100 times out of 100, like I said.
Man, that's feels like a million years. I mean, it was 3 years ago.
It
3
feels
years
like
ago,
a long time ago.
But in 2027, who knows where things will be? Isaiah Hardenstein is going to be killing it for the Pistons with all that cap space they give him. Josh Hart,
I don't know, man. I think he's going to come back.
I think the Knicks. I have no idea. I'm just jerk.
I know you're being a dick. Like OG Anunoby and Josh Hart are both free agents after this year, but they're both CAA clients, and OG Anunoby's agent is Leon Rose's son. So OG Anunoby's coming back. They know. Is it tampering? Is it tampering when you're just casually having a conversation with your dad at dinner?
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't. How are you going to prove that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't. It is what it is. And then Isaiah Hartenstein also is CAA, and he's best friends with Jalen and Josh. He's been on the Roommates podcast. Like, I think he's coming back too, but somebody might actually throw a bag at Isaiah Hartenstein. That's the thing. You know,
money will change everything, man. Like if someone's, I mean, it's just honest. If someone's going to give you 20, 30, 40 more million dollars, it's life-changing money.
Yeah, it would have to be something really so
cool,
dramatic. Yeah.
Really cool being on the Roommates podcast, but I'm going to take the money.
Yeah. I mean,
do you think there's a limit to how good the Knicks can be because that they're in such an isolated bubble that eventually that they're going to run out of like space in this balloon where they are so kind of
what balloon?
Like just this CAA balloon that they're only going for these guys that eventually it's like there's only so much they can do. Like DiVincenzo and the Villanova thing.
Well, Julius Randle went back to CAA, so he's staying. I
don't know. I just like eventually they're going to have to go out
in their horizons.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, a little bit. They can't.
Well, they made up with Clutch. Apparently, the CAA and Clutch made up, and now they're all friends.
I don't like these guys. I just the whole Knicks
I hate
thing.
that.
No,
I hate the drama of it, but it's working. So I love CAA now. I love Villanova. Like I'm a St. John's fan, but go Villanova, man. Who cares? Like
do you think OG Anunoby's making more money by not playing and showing his value that he's hurt?
I think he already showed that. I think in the regular season, he already showed that. And
Eh,
they did not even lose back-to-back games with him. 26-5 with him, including the playoffs, is their record, which is
Do you
insane.
think that if he's on the board, if he's borderline about coming back, he goes, "Fuck it, I don't want to ruin things for later and get really hurt."
I don't know. That's a Jeremy Lin. That's what we call pulling a Jeremy Lin. And that's why Knicks fans turned on him. And then he had the poison pill in the contract, went back to the Rockets, so the Knicks couldn't match the offer. And that's why I don't know why people want to welcome him back. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. I don't really care. But that's interesting. And I don't think that I don't know that honestly. I don't know OG Anunoby that well, honestly, because I barely knew anything about him when he was in the Raptors. I knew the player. I knew what kind of player he was. I didn't think he would be this impactful, but I also don't know how he is as a person, how he would react around contract times, and how he would react about playing through injury. I know that there's he has the narrative on him that he doesn't play through injuries. So I think it might just be that. I don't know if he's doing it deliberately, like I'm going to torpedo this season and ruin all this year where we can actually win a championship so I can get more money. I don't know. But this is the NBA, and you got to watch out for yourself first and foremost, because if he gets hurt and he's done for another year, he's not going to get paid. He'd be like Michael Conforto. You know what I'm saying? Just miss a whole year of money. So it's I don't know, man. That's an interesting question.
Well, I actually have a surprise for you tonight.
OG's there?
OG's here. Let me let him into the Zoom room. Actually, I liked asking you these questions. I feel like I'm on some like Nick podcast.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
I feel like I'm interviewing you. All right, this is the Knicks are awesome. 34. Guess why we picked or 33?
We can do Knicks fans Walden with Triple M. That's what.
All right, Nick Van Wilden. I'm MLB Michael Lewis Paseglia. And our today's guest is at Nick Central. You can find his videos there.
What's up?
That the Pacers will win in 4, or that the Knicks will win in 4, then the Knicks will win in 5. He hasn't done a video since they've lost the 2 straight games. I don't know where his confidence level is. We'll get into that. Alex, good evening. How are you doing?
I did do a video right after game 4.
But you didn't go like this.
Oh, and give the numbers and the amount of numbers that I think. Oh, okay.
Are the Knicks winning game 5, Alex?
Yes, they're winning game 5. They
are winning game 6.
That I need to take a breath. I got to see how we get out of game 5 injury wise and see what Jalen Brunson looks like. The Knicks have the extra day, the extra half day off also, because the Mother's Day game was kind of an early game and they were blown out and they rested. Yeah. So they had that extra day. I mean, they went through that gauntlet of a schedule after being injured, or the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, which is absurd, but it's no travel day. And so they got that extra day, and I want to see how they come out in game 5 and see how they look before I can talk about game 6. They come out game 5 and they look great and they stomp the Pacers out and win by, not even stomp out, just win convincingly by 8 to 10 points. I think they're going to win game 6 and end it. So, but if they win game 5 and it's a squeaker and Jalen Brunson doesn't look healthy, and you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I can't give you an answer. They've changed me, because they've gotten so many injuries ever since the beginning of the series.
The Pacers have played well.
They played well because the Knicks are injured. The Knicks are a really much better team. Mitchell Robinson. When I picked
the injuries or the wins, like the chicken or the egg, the Pacers still playing well, man.
Mitchell Robinson, OG Anunoby were healthy coming into this series. They are not healthy anymore.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. That might change things, right? I think. And now Isaiah Hartenstein has that shoulder injury. We don't know what's going on him.
Thibs.
Yeah, it's all Thibs' fault, of course.
This is why when you asked me,
I can put him in a full Nelson, but of course, it's on Thibs.
And this is why when you asked me before the series started, who do you like? I said I like the Pacers in 6. And you can go back and listen to the tape.
Right. You knew that Mitchell Robinson and OG Anunoby would be hurt.
I mentioned it that this guy is injury prone, and I did. They're injury prone, and that they're just going to get worn out.
Yeah,
I did.
You did.
And I hope I'm right, because I still could be proven wrong. But I said that. I said I don't know through the last things of this that they can handle it.
Let me ask you a question.
They're built for it.
If you were me and you're going to game 6 you're in Miami at this wedding and you're going to miss most of the game, would you prefer that the Knicks win the series? Obviously they win the series, but you missed the game completely. 6 o'clock game, you missed the game completely. You go to the Eastern Conference Finals, and you're happy, of course. Or would part of you be like, you know what? Let's get this game 7 so I can feel the moment and see the moment and be there and have them win, and I'll know. You want them to win in 6. I'm not saying that I feel that way. I'm just saying, like, what would you feel?
Man, I just want
Yeah.
wins.
Even if you can't see it at all.
I'm 41 years old. My team has never won a championship. I just get me there.
I know. Dude, it's been 24 years since the Knicks have been in the Eastern Conference Finals. 24 years. I'm 39. Do that math. It's been a long time, man. And I was
15.
in 10th. I was in 10th grade. 10th grade. I now have a son. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here? You know, so I am so upset that I may be missing the clinching game to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's why I'm saying,
how
go
good of
Celtics.
A friend is this?
Just win, Celtics. Oh man! So
how good of a friend is this?
He's one of my best friends. I have to go. He was in my wedding party. He flew to New York for my party. You know, my wedding.
Miss a quarter.
But you know what? Like, I have experience with this, and it's kind of good luck. You know, back in 2011, I had one of my best friends at the time. I was in his wedding party. It was January 8th, 2011. Jets Colts playoff game in Indy, which is a coincidence, or is it? And of course, the Jets won. I missed the whole game. This was obviously before you can watch games on your phone very easily, so nobody had a stream, like a legal streaming service on their iPhones. You know, what iPhone 4, whatever it was, and we're all on the ESPN Gamecast watching, like, you know, me and like 4 or 5 of my buddies were sitting around the table, like looking at our own phones. Who's getting the update first? What happened? Nick Folk is lining up for the field goal. He kicked it. And I just went nuts. I went running around the wedding, doing the flyboy thing with the jet thing with the arms out. And I was like running, like, ah! And I was just like ran out of the wedding party like that. Everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? And all these old people there, like, who is this guy? You know what I mean? And so I've experienced with this, so it's kind of good luck for the Knicks for this to happen. And if it's both Indy, so that's kind of cool. But please give me 8:30 games so I can watch the fourth quarter on my phone. Please, Celtics win. Like, just win. You're gonna win the series anyway. Like, can we not prolong this and fuck with Alex Moore? Just win the goddamn game 5, please.
There's been weddings and different events that.
But sorry, really quick. My friend whose wedding I went to and missed the Jets playoff game, I don't even talk to him anymore.
That
pisses me off even more about that story. That's all.
And if you don't want to answer this, it's fine. Okay. Are they? Well, I guess you haven't said names. Are they still married?
Yes, 3 kids.
Okay.
We fell out. We didn't talk for a long time. We kind of, you know, we're kind of cool now. And he reached out when my mom passed. So we're old friends. So we're like, we don't have any beef anymore, but we're just like not friends anymore. You know what I'm saying?
The beef will meet her with Alex.
Yeah. No, it wasn't like beef.
When
it
are
was
we
just more of like, it was more of like, I don't want to go into it. We had a couple big arguments and it kind of was just like, fuck you, no, fuck you. And then just, we never talked to each other for like years.
What year will our beef happen?
Let's see. Me and my old friend that I was talking about, we met I was a freshman in high school, so 99, and then it was 2019. So I'd say, you know, we got another like 15 years or so, Mike, the being friends before we fall.
I will say this, Alex. I've been to, there was actually a few weddings, bar mitzvahs where I had conflicts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. I was going to make a bad joke and I said like I left them, but that's a lie. This is a true story. Syracuse graduation 2006. My dad and I missed it to see the Nets in the playoffs. I missed my graduation.
To see the Nets in the playoffs, you missed your graduation.
I did.
This is Vince Carter years, right? This is a Vince Carter year,
2006. Yeah.
Wow.
So I did miss my graduation.
So you didn't walk. You don't have a cap and gown photo because of a Nets playoff game.
Well, there were 2 graduations, so now I'll get even deeper. There was like the overall school one, and then there was like your major. I did the major one, and
so you have the pictures and the cap and gown.
Fuck the other one. We're getting out of here.
Like the commencement and the whole thing.
Yeah. Then the speaker that year was Bill Clinton. Go figure. Man.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool.
So anyway, I did miss my graduation to see the Nets in the playoffs.
That's pretty funny. I
don't even remember who won. I just remember that. I remember I was getting the.
Was it like a game? Was it like a clinching game? Like this might be a clinching game that I'm gonna miss, or was it just like game 2?
I think it was a loss. I think it was game 3 or 4.
Yeah. See, well, game 3 could be a series swinging game. So I guess
Miami.
Pretty sure right. Miami. Whatever it was. So you want to do jersey number trivia? So
yeah, good point. I already forgot.
Dolan J. Trump sent us our jersey number trivia. We haven't done that in a while. He gives us at Dolan _J_Trump. He gives me a number.
He's
and
so
Mike
annoying.
a number. and we read the clues, and Mike has to guess the Nets player, and I have to guess the Knicks player. So, what do you want to go first?
He was nonstop texting me. Then the Knicks lose 2 games. He disappears.
Of course. Oh man,
I love you. I texted him. He sent me the jersey trivia. I said, I was just thinking about you. I was in the shower and I was thinking to myself, he doesn't text me anymore. And it was weird. It was weird. Mm-hmm. Anyway, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, let's go quick because my son just started crying. But okay, I'll read first.
Yeah, please go quick.
He played 4 years in the NBA from 2014 to 2018, with 3 of those years in Brooklyn. I hate that clue. It's like doesn't do anything.
Keep going. We'll move it quick.
With the Nets, he appeared in 109 games and made 24 starts at shooting guard, all during the 2016-2017.
I hear your son crying and I can't focus. I swear to God, I can't even hear the question. Sorry.
So it was Sean Kilpatrick. Oh, good job, Mike. You got it.
All right.
All right. Whatever.
All right. Sorry, Dolan. He played 6 seasons in the NBA, 2 of those seasons in New York. He debuted in 2017 with the Knicks after going undrafted from the same university as Damari Carroll, Darius Garland, Aaron Naismith. In his 2 seasons with the Knicks, he appeared in 66 games and made 19 starts at center. His career also features spots in Cleveland, Chicago, Milwaukee, and Boston. His father also played in the league, but not with the Knicks. With the Knicks, he wore number 2.
No idea.
Luke Cornett.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got that. All right. Well, good show. Shai made his appearance on the podcast.
Yeah, I'll let you go. I did hear.
I mean, I'm not gonna go check on him. I got to let him cry, but it's hard for me to focus with him screaming. Like,
no, I know. You got to let it go. You can't attend.
Yeah, but I also can't focus on a podcast while.
Yeah, no, I did hear it. It was funny. All right, Alex. Talk to you later.
All right,
go. So you got the Knicks.
Yes, Knicks.
Like I have to. If I had Pacers in 6, I got to stick with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Knicks in 6. We'll go there. All right.
Good night.
See ya.